Hi there and welcome to the channel of A Disappointed Man with me, Jason Kennedy, the Disappointed Man. Now it is Tuesday and that means tags, but no one has tagged me this week. Never mind, I went and found one for myself and it's called the Book Addict Tag. It was created by Elaine Howlin. Thank you, Elaine. Link in the description below. There are 12 prompts, so let's begin. Number 1. What is the longest amount of time you can go without picking up a book? Well, I'm a teacher, so the maximum would be from Friday night to Monday morning. But I think it's really speaking about reading for pleasure. In that case, it's very rare that I will go more than a day without reading a book. 2. How many books do you carry on your person at any one time? Now, I did answer this prompt in a previous video, and I said at that time 0. But I was thinking about it, and actually I carry all of these books in here around with me all of the time, and I'll be musing on them and replaying scenes from them and comparing them and doing a lot of the work actually that would be of use if I'm writing a paper about them. Yes, there's a lot more than just the reading part, following the words on the page. No, to me, reading is bigger than that and includes the reflecting on what you've read. 3. Do you keep every single book you buy or pass them along? Well, I never pass them to people for free. I will let people borrow them, of course. Sometimes you don't get them back. But generally, I will take them to a used bookstore and trade them for new stuff. I did that this week. You'll see it on my next book haul video. How long would you spend in a typical bookshop visit? That's number 4. Here in Taiwan, they are used bookstores, and the English section and the Spanish and French that I will look at too, they're not usually that big, and so it can just take 30 minutes or an hour. If I was in England or the US, then it would be 3, 4, 5 hours when I went, but over here, no, it's not always so long, unfortunately. 5. How much time per day do you actually spend reading? So again, I'm going to use my tricky answer. It's not just the opening the book and turning the pages, it's all the thinking about it. So in that sense, it's all day for me really. And the picking up a book, reading it part, maybe 1 or 2 hours a day. Yeah, something like that is as a baseline minimum. It can be a lot more at the weekends. 6. Where does the task of picking up a book appear on your daily to-do list? I don't really have a to-do list. But I pick up a book in the morning and take it downstairs and open it next to me while I'm having my breakfast, and I'll be reading through it. So it's right there at the start of my day. Number 7, how many books do you reckon you own in total? Oh, okay, so print, paper books behind me, about 2,000, I think, in this room, accumulated over my 15 years here in Taiwan, but a lot of serious buying in the last 2 or 3 years because I had more money. But on the computer, PDFs, I have about 50,000, I would say. Yeah. Approximately how often do you bring up books in conversation? Almost never. I did watch another booktuber giving a similar answer to me. People don't necessarily want to talk about books. Just because I know a lot about them doesn't mean I can push them into a conversation. And actually, when I was in England and working in these warehouses, factory jobs, I would not even tell people I'd been to university. I remember one time a man cornering me and saying, "Did you go to university? Have you graduated?" I said, I was thinking he's going to hit me. And I said, yeah, I did. He said, "Why didn't you tell anyone?" I said, "Yeah, for this reason. I didn't want any of these working men bullying me or picking on me." Because in England, working men can think that if you've been to university, you have airs, basically. They'll feel that you need bringing down, that you think you are better than they are. So I usually just keep quiet about what I know. Inside the university, I have the chance to speak. And on here, I love this channel because I can speak to you guys. But outside of that, no, I don't bring up books. I don't have much conversation thinking about it. Not really. I just come home to my wife and go back to work. What is the biggest book you have finished page count? I've read a lot of the big books. Tom Jones, 900 pages. Bleak House, almost 1,000. What What other ones? Oh, The Way We Live Now by Anthony Trollope. That was 1,000. But I think the longest one is The Good Soldier Shrek, the anarchist classic anti-war novel. That went on for about 1,200 pages, and I had no problem finishing that. It was just a magnificent book. And actually, the closing 200 pages or so was probably the best part of it. I'd recommend that book to anyone. I love these big books. I've read all of Dickens except for 4 novels, so they all are really, really heavy. But no, it might take me a week to read one of them, but so what? I have plenty of time. Is there a book you had to get your hands on at all costs? No, not really. When my own story was published in a book way back when, I would have gone to the bookstore and I would have been trying to get my hands on it. But instead I went to a reception at the Admiralty, very posh, on the Mall in London. And you could just pick them all up for free because it was the promotional party. So the next one, a book you struggled to finish but refused to DNF. Yes, I have 2. And they're both regarded as absolute classics. One is James Joyce, and not Ulysses, no, A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man. I just don't like this book. Partly, I think, because I'm from a Catholic background. It's awful reading through all of the Catholic nonsense in this book. Yeah, that brought back lots of terrible memories. And I just was not interested in the central character. I didn't find him appealing in the slightest. The other one is Thomas Mann's Death in Venice, which I read about 2 weeks ago. It was an absolute chore to get through 130 pages of that. That was not my thing, but I thought I will finish it and just be able to look at it in the round and at least know if the ending was better than the beginning and the middle. But no, it was all much of a muchness. It was beautifully written, but it didn't stir me in the slightest. I found it rather repellent, actually, the subject matter. The last one, your reading goals for this year. I've got something to show you. I've applied for a PhD. You'll see it on my other video. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a place because they contacted me asking for lots of supplementary documentation, which is usually a sign they're not wasting your time there, that they want you. So I'm reading, like the undergraduates would, I'm reading these huge Norton anthologies. They sometimes read the complete text of a work, but often they just read these pieces of them. And this counts as their English literature education. If I may have to teach this stuff, then I need to have read it all. And I haven't read all of this. The one upstairs is like the 16th century. I haven't read any of that. But I'm going through them and making all the notes in readiness for one day having to teach them. It's thousands and thousands and thousands of pages, but it will get done. My other reading goal was to finish all of Dickens' novels. Now I've got 4 left. I think they're Martin Chuzzlewit, Mystery of Edwin Drood, Dombey and Son, and Nicholas Nickleby. Yeah, and I've only got 2 of those here, Nicholas Nickleby and Dombey and Son. I'll read those, get the other 2, and it will be done. And I'll be able again in my mind to assess and compare and evaluate all of those pages of Dickens and decide which novels I like the most. Right now, my favourite is Bleak House and Great Expectations are really on the same level. And then Little Dorrit, and then maybe Barnaby Rudge is in there as well. Oh no, Old Curiosity Shop, that would come before that. And the third goal, to find as many new writers as I can. You know, brilliant writers who I can place way up there, you know, in my personal canon that I can add to that core group who I'm kind of always thinking about. And so one I found already from doing my reviews was Kobo Abe, the Japanese novelist. Oh yes, he is right up there, like I said, with Kafka, Orwell and William Burroughs. If I had to tell you who the writer is who's made the most impact on me, it's George Orwell's 1984. I never stopped using the phrases from that book in my daily life, or at least thinking them. Groupthink, doublethink, duck speak, thought police, telescreen, the young spies, all of it, that is always there with me. I think it's because I read it when I was at that right age. I read it when I was about 16, 17. Orwell works best when you're a young person. I can't really read it now. So I want to find some writers who can be right there with all well and always be sort of stirring me when I look at things and oh yeah, that reminds me of this or that part. So Kobo Abe, I need to find some more. You're always welcome to make recommendations. Italo Svevo is one that I want to read, and there's a Brazilian guy I want to read, and more of the Pessoa stuff as well. That is the end of the prompts. Tags wise, I'm not going to tag the same 3 people again and again and again. This time, I know a lot of big booktubers watch this channel. Yeah, you're all subscribed. I can see it, of course. If any of them want to take it up and do the tag because they watch this, fine. Anyone else wants to grab a hold of it, be my guest. But I'm not going to single anyone out this time. That's it. I will let you go about your Tuesday. I hope it's as wonderful as your Monday was. But until the next time, I must repeat my mantra by way of farewell. Be safe, be strong, and nanu nanu.